What's going on, BOTA Sports World? It's your boy, the Soggy One. My name's Zach. Right here on my left, I have Chris, and on the other side of Tampa Bay, we have James. What's going on, guys?
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, excited.
So I'm glad we're finally doing this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're taking it to the next level. We're making our little podcast here to supplement our blog. I think it's going to be a good time. I think you guys are going to enjoy the content that we put out and, just enjoy laughing at us for the entire time. So we're going to talk about a couple different things tonight. Our first blog is probably going to run a little bit long for you guys, but we're going to do our Week 7 recap on the NFL. We're going to go over, some defensive stats from one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time. We're going to do our Week 8 preview for the NFL and what teams are going to suck, what teams are going to be good this week. We're going to go over our games of the week. So myself, Chris, and James all have picked a game that they think is going to be the best or most entertaining game. Chris is going to go over the bet lines here. We're also going to go over the trade deadline. Then we're going to switch over. I'm going to do some NHL talk. Maybe James and Chris will hop in on that. Try to get a couple different sports in here. We're also going to go over the World Series. Then James is going to come up with a segment here. It's called Bet or Bust through all sports. And then we're going to end with our poll of the week, which is who has a better face-riding mustache? Our boy, Hop, a.k.a. James, a.k.a. Daddy, or Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, Gardner Minshew II. So
I'm glad I'm already objectified.
I'm just saying that's what we like to do here. Got a point. So let's get started. Week 7 was very interesting in the NFL. I think
Week 7 was a bag of shit, but
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, there was some game. I mean, obviously the 49ers-Redskins game was a bag of shit because it was literally a mud field. And it was a 9-0 game.
I thought that was awesome.
So,
they were sliding from the 50 all the way to the 10.
It's fun for them, but like watching it, it's like watching, I don't know, Peaky Blinders with no subtitles and no volume.
Let me come in here. When you were a kid, your favorite thing to do was slide across wet grass.
No, it
playing
wasn't.
Football.
You need some higher standards.
I didn't grow up in a field in Maryland. All right, I'm from a city.
Let's get back to that game. Let's go right from the top down. Let's go Thursday to Monday night.
All right. Well, Thursday night game, we had the Chiefs and Broncos. I think the biggest story out of that was Patrick Mahomes and his dislocated kneecap. I mean, I watched the thing. His kneecap was popped back into place on the field in view of the camera. Many people at Hooters, I was at Hooters that Thursday night, they almost threw up because that was really gross to watch his kneecap go back into place. But update today, it looks like he is back at practice and he actually might be available this Sunday. So that's a really good turn of events. However, I think they'd be fine if they played Matt Moore this week and let him rest a little bit because he's also dealing with some other injuries that I think would not be very well if they did that. I don't really see the use in that. But
I agree. I mean, coming back from a dislocated knee, of course, he could have played the same day, honestly. But why would
crutches.
You pop it back in? You're okay, but it's the rehab. So he should not play for at least another week. It's once you dislocate it, it's always easier to pop back out. It's a risky move. But what we should be talking about is how Andy Reid knew he was injured with an ankle injury and still ran the QB sneak.
It's a risk you got to take, though. I mean, on I think it was 4th and 1 at the moment. Like, they needed that score. You got to keep the momentum going.
They don't need that score. You know they don't need that score.
They don't necessarily need that score.
Joe Flacco was a pile of shit. I could put
more of his passes.
I could have put one of my cats. Actually, you know what? I could have put 3 of my cats in a trench coat, put a helmet on one of the cats, and it would have thrown a ball better than Joe Flacco was throwing that ball on Thursday night.
Yeah, but is the cat elite?
No, that is not elite. Neither is Joe Flacco. So
I will never be sold on Joe Flacco being a quarterback. Here's an elite quarterback. Sorry. What I don't understand about the Patrick Mahomes injury is how do you have a franchise quarterback, a dude that is arguably a top 3 fucking player in the NFL, and you're going to make him walk a fucking 5K into the goddamn parking lot like it's a WWE event? Where was he going?
For
Where the fuck was he? There was no ambulance. They just kept him going out.
Again,
That does not make sense to me.
To Mason Rudolph, when he got absolutely clobbered, his helmet fell apart. That's how hard he got hit. When Mason Rudolph, he had to walk off because the cart wasn't working. So the man who was severely concussed, had to walk off the field with two people basically carrying him all the way to the locker room. I mean, it seems like a really
specifically me. Sorry.
No,
we specifically got called out on social media for that. Just like, could we stop posting this picture of Mason Rudolph? And the dude's like, well, you just posted. I'm like, fair, but Mason Rudolph looks like he's dumber than he already looked in that stupid fucking face maskless helmet.
Can I say
it was not? It was not pleasant.
The head department, but anyways, let's move on to a couple other games here. Like I said before, we had the Mud Bowl. I don't know if they're going to title it that, but 49ers, Redskins 9-0. 49ers beat the Redskins 9-0. Excuse me. 49ers moved to 6-0. Not much there for offense, obviously. It was downpouring, no mobility whatsoever, but the 49ers defense limited the Redskins to absolutely no points. I have it right there.
What this game reminded me of was almost like a Thanksgiving game, like a Thanksgiving high school game.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
Which I guess is fair because I guess the Redskins have like a homecoming thing, which I don't know if you can have that as an NFL team, but they did. And they have these like retro jerseys, whatever. But like the rain, the mud, the bullshit play. I'm still not sold on the Niners being a 6-0 team. I think their defense is fantastic. I think their defense is legit.
Well, they
have proved that to me. I don't believe in their passing offense.
I understand. Most of their wide receivers are on. Like, I think their oldest wide receiver is.
Emmanuel Sanders, but we'll get to that later.
Now Emmanuel Sanders, but I mean, Marquise Goodwin is only 26. I mean, they have Dante Pettis, Deebo Samuels. Like, they're all young. You know what I mean? And Jimmy hasn't really had enough time to work with them. I mean, he was out all season last year.
Right, and it's turning into a very Patriot style thing where your leading receiver is a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep, Georgie boy.
Good old George Kittle.
Yeah. All right. We have our Cardinals-Giants game, which was basically just a shit bowl because they both suck.
You know what? I'm going to interject on that. I think the Cardinals defense actually showed up. Granted, it's against the Giants, but I have faith.
I mean, the Cardinals have something there. It's very, very deep hidden, but compared to last season, there's something.
For a team that started off with a tie and then a bunch of losses, I was like, all right, whatever. They're kind of picking it up. I didn't have a lot of faith in Cliff Kingsbury. He's an offensive coach, and he wasn't going for it. He's starting to get his mind right. I'm kind of getting faith in Cliff Kingsbury as much as I hate to say that.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, it must sting for you to say that because you have Freddie Kitchens and not Cliff Kingsbury, but that's fine.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, well,
we'll talk about Freddie when we get there. All right.
We had some games that are coming up on my slate here. Texans Colts. That was a really good game.
That was
very close divisional game between the two. Texans 4-3 now. Colts 4-2. They take over that second spot.
I think the AFC South is about to be very entertaining at the end of the season.
I mean, the AFC South usually is decently entertaining because there's never that one team that kind of dominates the season. It's like back and forth, really. I mean, with the AFC West, it's like, okay, the Chiefs are there most of the time, but like sometimes it's like one or two times it was the Broncos in the past 5 years.
Right.
You get the Chargers that are around a little bit, but like the AFC South, it's like, okay, the Colts can be good one year. Oh, the Texans are good this year. The Colts are good this year. The Titans were good like 3 years ago, but not anymore because Mariota's second.
It turns into who has the best jerseys week in and week out.
Now, what about Jacoby Brissett though? Led the Colts.
The prophet of New England that was undervalued the entire way through.
I
mean, numbers.
I mean, I'm just saying the Holy Trinity, like I posted on our blog, they continue to win. I mean, Brady, Brissett, Garoppolo, they just continue to win.
Speaking of the blog, let me just chime in here. All my predictions have been correct since we started this blog. Just remember that, fans.
Why are you pointing at the mic?
Fuck you.
Camera's up there, dude.
Yeah, fuck
and
you.
How many predictions have we gone over in our total of 2 posts?
I have 3.
Oh, 3 posts? Sorry.
Pats,
My bad.
undefeated.
Okay, well, that's not
Ben
true yet.
Roethlisberger, out, possibly retiring
Okay,
at the
well,
end
he's
of
on
the
the
season.
He's
IR.
not going to retire. He's too
Kyle
proud to
Allen
retire.
replacing Cam Newton as the starter.
Well, but
Thank
We'll
you.
get there.
hurt.
We'll get there.
All
Cam
right.
Newton's in trade talks.
Larry,
That's later in the show.
we had
Keep it
Packers
real.
and Raiders. Aaron Rodgers completely balled out that game. He looked like the Aaron Rodgers that we all know and love, or some of us love. I thought he completely balled out. That offense is coming together. I think, they had a hard time at the beginning of the season because they had switched head coaches. Matt LaFleur is kind of new in the system, but,
Right.
that was a really good showing. I mean, hey, the Raiders this year, surprising enough, like, they're 3-3. They're not really that bad. They're really not. Like, the defense is coming together.
Not awful.
They're really not that bad. I mean, and, the offense has come together pretty well. I mean, they have Josh Jacobs, who's been amazing this year. I think he's definitely in consideration for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean,
I think it's going to come down to him and Terry McLaurin, honestly.
he's been great.
On a really awful team, he's been fantastic. With new quarterbacks almost every week, it feels like he's been crushing it.
I know. All right, we had Vikings-Lions, a great NFC North showdown. Vikings took that game 42-30. Vikings moved to 5-2. I mean, the Lions did score 30 points on a Vikings defense that has been pretty good in the past couple weeks. But, I mean, the big story about that is Kirk Cousins, 3-0 in the last 3 games. He's thrown a crap ton of touchdowns. He's like 10-0, I believe, in touchdowns to interceptions. He's thrown like 1,400 yards in 3 games. Like, it's been some crazy stat line like that. I don't remember what the actual numbers are off the top of my head.
Kirk Cousins is on the I'm sorry Stephon Diggs tour right now. That's what he's been doing and just been going with
And
it.
Adam Thielen, like, both of them deserve better than what he was giving them the first two or 3 games. But like,
Don't ignore Dalvin Cook this whole time. That kid has been insane.
only reason, like, one of the biggest reasons my fantasy team is 6-1. Shout out D Cook, cooking
Shout
up
out
these
D.
wins,
Cook.
boy. All right, yeah, Jaguars, Bengals.
Shout out to Florida State for being an awful football team but producing great draft picks.
Fair enough. So we had
Knock on
Jaguars,
wood if you
Bengals. Jaguars moved to 3-4. The Jags defense had a touchdown against an 0-7 Bengals team that is just a dumpster fire. We had Bills Dolphins, another divisional matchup. I think everyone knows how that went.
Hey, the Bills scored over 10 points.
And the Dolphins had a lead at one point. Do not ignore that. The Dolphins had a lead.
I didn't
Yes.
know that.
For the
I
first
didn't watch
time,
the
the
game.
Dolphins had a lead. We
That's
cannot
what's
ignore that. But Josh Allen, being the mayor of Buffalo, the leader of Bills Mafia,
Yeah.
over and did what Josh Allen does.
Well, unfortunately for you, I don't think Josh Allen is the guy, and he's not lasting more than another 2 seasons in Buffalo. But we'll get to that later.
Wow. We'll
Rams
talk about that.
Falcons. Dan Quinn's team looks completely lost. They don't know what's going on. I really think they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline. They already, Mohamed Sanu's already gone. He went to the Pats for a 2nd-round pick. I think they have more coming. Honestly, I think they might trade some defensive pieces. Vic Beasley might be gone. Keanu Neal might be gone, so we can see. But yeah, Rams take that game 37-10. They're 4-3. They're kind of back in that race for the NFC West. We had
The
Titans
NFC
Chargers.
West is entertaining this year.
NFC West is a
If
good.
it's not the AFC South, it's going to be the NFC West. It's
Yeah.
entertaining towards the end.
Yeah. We had Titans Chargers. Titans win that game 23-20. Ryan Tannehill leads the Titans to a win.
Weirdest statement for me is that Ryan Tannehill
I
leads
didn't
the
think I'd
Titans.
ever hear that.
Yep.
Hear that.
Forever, you'll say Ryan Tannehill to me and be like, "Oh, Miami leads the Titans."
Yeah. But the Chargers look awful this year. I don't know what happened.
Chargers look like shit. I don't know.
12-4 last year. They should have been a 1 or 2 seed, but obviously how playoffs work, they were the 5th seed in a wild card race. They have just not looked like the same team with Melvin Gordon out, and even though he's back, he just doesn't look like he has it this year.
No.
I mean, Eckler's been a bright spot for the team, but it's just not enough to get them back into any sort of playoff race.
really
Rams Seahawks. That was a really good game. I watched that game. Lamar Jackson absolutely balled out. He outrushed the entire Seahawks team for the 3rd time. Not the Seahawks, but he outrushed the opposing team for the 3rd time this season. Crazy rushing stats. I mean, it's like having two running back ones on the same team. Does it mean
let's not ignore what Russell Wilson did that game, though, and what he's done all year and why he's leading in MVP voting.
Correct.
Although they did not win that game, Russell Wilson, still a threat. Still one of the hardest dudes to tackle. That was like a battle of two quarterbacks that are just like magnetic opposites of everyone trying to tackle them and just like going in whatever way. It's entertaining football. That's what the NFL should turn into.
Yeah.
Wilson.
IMO.
Wilson was slow at the beginning of the year, but he's picked it back up, and he is the same old, same Russell Wilson. It's fun to watch him play.
I think he's better than he has been, to be honest.
I mean, it's crazy to think like it's not gone unnoticed, but I feel like his play specifically. It's kind of gone a little bit under the radar because of how diverse the NFC West is this year. Like you have 6-0 49ers. The Rams come off a Super Bowl loss and they're 4-3. You know what I mean? Which one?
All
right. Sorry, we're just we're juicing up here, boys.
Yep. Keep it saucy.
Let's move on. We got a couple more games to go over, and then we can transition into our next little piece here. Saints-Bears game, 36-25 Saints. I think a couple of the biggest lines from that game. Teddy Bridgewater is still perfect in his starts for the Saints. Drew Brees was throwing in practice, I believe, on either Monday or Tuesday. So
he's expecting to play.
He's expecting to play coming Sunday. So we'll look out for that. And the Bears 3-3 offense looks terrible. I don't think they have it in them this year.
As much as I want to hate on Mitch, like as much as I want to go against him, I really think this goes against the O-line and their injuries they've had.
I agree because I mean if you look at other teams that have lost a lot of offensive line help, like the Patriots, I mean Tom Brady's stats haven't been very great. I mean that's also because he's 42, but
he ain't no spring chicken.
He is not a spring chicken. All right, and the last Sunday night game we had Cowboys Eagles. Cowboys take that 37-10.
Can we fucking talk about the Nelson Aguilar play? I don't care. What the fuck was that? If you're a receiver in the NFL, I know he's on the trade block. I know they've talked about it. Put your fucking arms out and catch that ball. That was a touchdown.
He gave up the second that play was snapped.
And listen, I think at that point, like it doesn't. I get that a play can change a game, but 37-10. I mean, that's a 27.
It doesn't necessarily change the game, but again, the line lit Carson Wentz down. He was pressured all night. He was throwing from outside the pocket for what seemed like most of it, and he was getting abused back there by the defense. Yeah. That Cowboys defensive rush just took it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I like the Cowboys defense. I think that if they can play more consistent, that they're going to be fine. I mean, at 4-3, that NFC East is not really good. I mean, the 4-3.
They lost to the Jets. They lost to the fucking Jets.
They lost to the
Jets, yes.
Without Sam Darnold.
No,
with Sam Darnold.
I was going to say, that was before Sleeping Gate.
All right,
ghosts.
Boys, got last game. We have our Monday night game, everyone. Patriots, Jets, absolute shellacking.
I see ghosts.
Seeing ghosts. I think the biggest take out of that is why would you mic up a 22-year-old quarterback playing the best defense in the league? Why would you do that to him? Why would you do that to the team?
No. ESPN knew exactly what they were doing with that.
No. I know ESPN did, but why did they agree to let ESPN do that? Is my question.
I don't know. I look at Sam Darnold and expect him to say something stupid every time.
I was listening to the radio, and it's like they're saying, Adam Gase was with Jay Cutler when Jay Cutler had his best season. Jay Cutler, Smoking Jay Cutler had his best season when Adam Gase was there as his quarterback coach. Right. So you would think it would be in his best interest to not put that much pressure on a 22-year-old who just came back from non-player injury or whatever the hell, mono. He should
Mono slash
should focus more on
swollen
football,
spleen.
less on lips. But I guess whatever floats his boat.
It was a swollen spleen.
Okay,
That was the second part. And then another thing, the third thing is, did you hear he had a toenail removed after the game? It was something like that. Like he ended up having a toenail removed. And I was like, he's had the most. He's becoming injury prone, but in a way that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I got Sam Darnold. I got a hell of a hangnail right now. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
I think the biggest take out of that game is just how insane this Patriots defense is, and that's my next topic here. It's just I wouldn't categorize them as the best I've ever the best ever. However, I've only been alive for 23 years. I don't remember the 2000s Ravens. I think this team
Browns.
Bears. I categorically think that this defense is better than the 14 and 13 Seahawks defense, the Legion of Boom. I believe that because
on that sword statistically it's there.
I will fall on that sword because yes, they just demonized the Broncos in 2013, and yeah, 2013 Broncos are nothing to sneeze at. Peyton Manning had 55 touchdowns, broke the record. That offense was completely rolling, but we all know Peyton Manning's 2-2 in Super Bowls, and the only reason he's 2-2 is because the last year he played, his defense carried him to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the Patriots, that Tom Brady doesn't have that, but he has 6 Super Bowls. So even if you take out some of his Super Bowls, he still has more than Peyton Manning. So I don't want to hear the whole defense carry argument for Tom Brady if you can't use it for other quarterbacks. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Also,
It's valid play.
Stat right now. If the offense for the Patriots have not even taken the field yet, the Pats would still be 3-3-1 just because of the defense. That is how impressive they have been in not only not letting up touchdowns, not letting up points, but also scoring their own.
I think the biggest stat line from this Patriots defense is the fact that they have scored more touchdowns. They've physically scored more touchdowns than they've let up.
Mm-hmm.
They've scored 5, let's say 5 touchdowns because they have 2 special teams. 2 special teams touchdowns, 3 defensive touchdowns. They've given up two rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All the other points have come off of offensive mistakes or special teams mistakes.
And it's not like they're playing bad offenses. They've had some high-powered offenses they're going against.
They have the best points per game in the league.
Yeah.
And they're garbage. Their running game is so bad right now. Like Sony Michel, yeah, he had 3 rushing touchdowns, but it was from it was gains of like 1.5, and 5 yards.
Yeah,
I'm a big Georgia running back guy. I'm very happy with what Swift is doing and seeing him next year. But yeah, Sony Michel has looked like trash all year.
He has. I mean, I really think it's a product of the offensive line. I was really reluctant to get on the Sony train last year, and yeah, he balled out in the playoffs, had a great playoffs, but I just think that it was really a product of the offensive line, and now that offensive line has just been decimated by injuries and David Andrews with his blood clots, it hasn't been the same,
No, for sure.
Yep. All right, well, I think it's a good time to segue here. We're going to talk about Week 8. Me and Chris are going to go over some games. We're going to go over our games of the week. This week we got. Oh yeah. Okay.
No, you're not welcome to talk.
All right. Well, we have Cowboys and the Ravens on bye, so no Cowboys, no Ravens, but Ravens do play the Patriots next week at home, so that's something to look forward to. But we have the Browns and Pats, Redskins and Vikings. We'll get to that. Don't worry, James.
Yeah, no, I'm fully ready for it.
Bucks and Titans, Cardinals, Saints, Bengals, Rams, Jets, Jaguars, Giants, Lions, Chargers, Bears, Eagles, Bills, Seahawks, Falcons, Panthers, 49ers, Raiders, Texans. My pick of the week, Packers, Chiefs, and then we have the Dolphins and the Steelers. So let me just give you guys a little taste of what I think is going to happen. This Packers-Chiefs game is going to be so good. If Patrick Mahomes does come back, I cannot wait to see Mahomes v. Rodgers. I need this in my life. I don't care how hurt Mahomes is. If he has to cut off his leg and stick an animatronic leg right up his nub, I hope he does it. Because I need this in my life.
Do you remember the Michael Vick ad where they had him in Michael Vick experience? I want Mahomes in that. I want him out there in a fucking roller coaster seat, flipping around. Make it happen, Goodell. I want this out there. A hot fucking Aaron Rodgers coming off of a 400-yard game? Give me it. Let's fucking go.
Ugh. What the fuck is that?
This is also my game of the week. I think it's going to be interesting.
Session Halo.
Oh, that was nasty. The fucking end. Anyways, the finish of that beer was gross. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna take a look here because like I really think that I think Rodgers is just gonna ball out.
It's hard to argue against him. Fantasy-wise, I'd go all in
the
Rodgers.
Packers over the Chiefs here?
I'm categorically picking the Packers over the Chiefs. I think the Packers are going to ball out. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a game. I think he throws 4 touchdowns. The Chiefs' defense is a literal sack of potatoes. I know I've used that a lot. They're actual garbage. The Chiefs' defense has no substance whatsoever. They lost any sort of even any sort of momentum in building when they traded away Dee Ford.
Yeah. But to trade away your best player because he was offsides, kind of dumb. Let's pretend like it was, we didn't do it because of that. You fucking did.
Could have been for other reasons, but I mean, it's a little bit of coincidence anyways that way. But I really think that the Packers win this game. Stat-wise, the Packers' defense isn't the best, but I really think they have a ton of playmakers. That cornerback grouping is just really, really good. Jair Alexander, Kevin King, Josh Jackson, those 3 are just studs, absolute studs. And I forget the name of the guy they picked up in the draft this year as well, but they picked up a safety, Darnell Savage, I believe it was.
Yeah, 21 Savage.
He's great, and then their linebacking core has just stepped up this year. So I really think that the Packers defense will limit whichever quarterback plays. Obviously, it'll be a little harder for them if Mahomes plays, but I think if Matt Moore plays, there's no chance that Kansas City wins that game, which would be very interesting because then Kansas City drops to 5-3, and that really gives the Patriots a chance to run away with the AFC. So,
right.
All right, Chris, what do you think?
All right, I want to start off with the game I've been waiting for all season is this weekend. Browns at Patriots. And at the beginning of the season, I know James has been waiting for it. I am so pissed. The Browns are supposed to be 5-1 right now with OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, and they're giving me fucking 2-4. Like, come on, give the Pats a struggle here. But I can't wait. That's going to be a great game. I mean, the Pats are getting in. They're almost, based on the spread,
which is
good. They're favored by 13 points right now. Man. Over is 46.
Oh.
They are favored by high points every week.
That's still low though. I mean, you got to take the Pats' schedule into account though. We got lucky this year.
Do you think they're going to lay 13?
Do I think they will beat 13?
Right. If Mr. Cassidy, if you're our betting expert, you got to tell us what you're going to lay there. Buddy.
For some reason, our betting expert is the worst person at betting, and Zach and I don't bet. Somehow you finished off negative.
Let's put it this way. They gave the Jets 10, I believe, if I remember correctly. We beat that by 23. I love Browns.
Double for those of you keeping score at home.
I have mad respect for the Browns. I think on paper they should be close, not undefeated, but they should only have 1 or 2 losses right now. But I just said they have 4.
I disagree with that.
I'm going to strongly disagree with that.
On paper,
can I get some time for a Browns rant here?
All right.
Can I get a hot tub?
No. So
Landry,
James, I will give you
Nick fucking Chubb.
I will give you time for a Browns rant, but I want you to listen to me for a second, okay? This game,
I'll tail off.
This game features the biggest coaching gap in all of NFL history.
Spot the lie.
We're talking about Bill Belichick, possibly the greatest coach of all time. There's still some of that for debate. He's still third on the wins column.
How is there still a debate on that?
I think he's the best coach of all
The
time.
most winningest coach of all time. That should be enough.
He's not. Don Shula still is. But, anyways, this is going to be the biggest coaching discrepancy of all time. Freddie Kitchens was a running backs coach last year.
He was a quarterback coach.
He was a running backs coach.
Okay.
He managed 4 people, 4 running backs. That's it. Maybe a fullback too. I don't really know. 4. He managed the entire team this year, and you're telling me that was a good idea by Brown's organization? You're telling me that was a great idea? You know what would be a really good idea? Let's employ this fat sack of shit who doesn't know how to run a whole team. And Chris, put the chip down. And you're telling me that is going to work.
Good save.
Yeah, I understand. On paper, they have really good playmakers. But you can't put a coach in that position. And you can't put that kind of coach in a position. And he's producing nothing. I mean, he has no time management skills. He's nothing. So I just think it's going to be really, really sad for them.
It's already been really sad. Let's start James's Brown minute, or fucking whatever we're gonna call this. Look, I did not like Freddie Kitchens at the beginning of the year. Personally, I was in on the Greg Williams train. I wanted Greg Williams. I was like, why aren't we talking to more Greg Williams? Which is weird to me to say that I wanted him to be the coach. The dude who was fucking doing Bounty Gate, which is a whole other fucking throwback. Freddie Kitchens has been calling plays with just above 7 seconds left on the play clock. 1, illegal. 2, gives no time for Baker to adjust or read the defense. The offensive line is horrendous. You can't do shit for that. The offensive line has been trashed. Baker has had no time. So say what you want about Baker. He's had no time to fucking produce back there. He has made awful throws. There have been a few throws that I've been like, why?
There's a reason why he's leading the league in interceptions right now.
Absolutely leading the league in interceptions. You can give me the whole fucking stat about how he's comparable and doing better than Peyton Manning in his fucking first starts. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I care about right now. Give me wins. Get Freddie out. He was almost fired after the fucking Seahawks loss. Here's the shitty part. Here's the part I don't understand. Why the fuck am I talking myself into thinking that the Browns are going to upset the Pats? How on earth am I talking myself into that? I'm like, oh, it's a bye week. Oh, great. Oh, man, it's a trap game. I don't care. I'm right now in like a 60-40 where I'm like, it's not going to happen. 60. 40% of me, though, is like, maybe give me it.
All right.
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Your rage-fueled prediction for the Browns-Patriots game. Let's hear it.
Rage-filled prediction. Still hot. Rage and Natty Light. Give me the Browns winning by a field goal. Oh, that one hurt.
Really?
I think I just got a kidney stone.
Final
Give me
score
the Browns by a field goal, baby. Woo!
Yeah, Browns winning by a field goal.
I'm going to lock that one in. I'm going to lock it in.
All right.
Browns by a field goal. Wow.
Browns by a field goal.
All right,
I am very nervous about that Patriots defense. We get Greedy Williams. We get Denzel back this week off of a bye, off of hamstring injuries. They're rested. Hopefully they make some kind of fucking trade. Not going to happen this week. We'll talk about that when we get to trades. I'm dumbly optimistic about this game. And they're going to rip my heart out. And I'm going to be sad about it, but I'm fully ready for it.
Well, would you like to add a game of the week, or is that your game of the week, sir?
Me?
No, you already said yours.
No, actually, to be fair, my game of the week was the Packers Chiefs, but you took that, so.
Sorry. Hey, as soon as you lose. That's it. All right. So, James, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the trade deadline.
You talked that whole time. You have not let us talk at all.
I'm leading the segment.
I've been talking. I know what you're talking about.
I know, James, you wanted to talk about, the trade deadline, right?
Yeah. All right. That's a good call. We should talk about that. Speaking of the Patriots, to go back into it, Mohamed Sanu traded early, what was that, 2 days? What?
Nothing. I missed the betting lines, but we can do that.
Zach skipped over everything I was supposed to say.
I think he skipped over the entire Week 8 preview, but we can loop back on that.
Yeah, he did. And I had one game for Week 8 preview.
All right.
Guys,
let's just get this trade deadline out of the way since we're already steaming through this. We'll loop back. We're gonna loop back onto Week 8, boys.
All right.
Mohamed Sanu traded off to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how I feel about this. We'll loop back on that. Daniel Sanders. Can you say something?
Would you have preferred AJ Green over Sanu?
We'll get back to that.
Okay.
I'm going to keep going. I have a plan here. I have a path. I have a train. You're trying to divert to Detroit, and I'm still fucking on my way to New York. I don't know. I don't know how trains work. Emmanuel Sanders, like I said, traded to the Niners. As I said earlier, the Browns line's awful. They're looking at 3 players. One on Philly who's about 26, I think. I can't think of the kid's name. It's really hard to pronounce. I'm not going to go for it. Nate Solder, former Patriot.
Nelson Aguilar?
No. Talking line. BOTA, something. I don't know. Whatever. I should know that. I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to keep it rolling.
Yeah, whatever.
Nate Solder's in there. That's how much I care about our sports. Nate Solder's in the talks. Trent Williams still in there. Yeah. Sounds like the Redskins aren't going to send him. We'll see. I'm sure at the right asking price, anybody can be pried away.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole Trent Williams thing. I mean, they're not a good team, and why would you keep an offensive lineman if your quarterback play is god awful and your running backs aren't doing anything? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Quarterback play, not quarterback in general, but just like put any quarterback that they've had. Colt McCoy, terrible. Kirk Cousins has been god awful for them. Like it doesn't matter who you put in there. It's not going to produce anything this year. So. Yeah,
I don't disagree with you necessarily. I think it makes sense to cut and run and like try to get those draft picks, especially with how solid this draft is already looking from this year. I'm not a GM though. I'm a dude with a tapestry behind me and some natty light in my system.
I mean that's fair, but everyone has a right to speculate. So it just, if you have an informed opinion about the NFL, I mean you can give it. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just an opinion. So I just feel like they could use some different spots. Like having Trent Williams and all the other pieces around is not going to help them. They need to ship Williams out. They need to get some draft capital. They need to reboot the system because they don't have anything going for them.
No, they do not.
Last time that they had any hope was when Robert Griffin was quarterback. The one season where he actually played quarterback, they had hope.
And I can't disagree with you there.
Then he got hurt. So
all right, I'm going to try with a slight buzz to pronounce this guy's name. So everyone sit back and get ready. Also, I'm about to offend the entire nation of Hawaii, so stay tuned. Halapoulivaati Vatai. So blame me for fucking forgetting that name. Sorry, I didn't remember Halapalavala Vatai. All right, my bad.
I'm gonna
fucking strike me down. Whatever.
I mean, I can't really do that from here, but
keep it moving on the trade deadline. Another name that keeps circulating, that feels like circulates every year. Patrick Peterson's in there again. Rumored, actually, connections with Philly. Nelson Aguilar talks matching up there. You talked about it earlier. Melvin Gordon is back in pursuit by other teams. Mostly now because he's looked like shit and his trade value has gone down to about a second or third round pick as opposed to maybe a first or a late first earlier.
I've heard a lot of talks about possibly the Bills looking into Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of had a running back by committee thing going on there, and it'd be really nice to kind of add him to the mix or even feature him if he can get healthy.
It's nice to have Frank Gore for a year.
I mean,
but you gotta focus on what you
good for 1,000 yards a season. Like literally always. It's kind of like he's the Tom Brady of running backs. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be around. He's going to produce like some decent numbers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
But Melvin Gordon also has come out and claimed that he stated himself that his holdout was a fail for this exact reason.
Yeah, today he came out and said that.
Yep.
Chris brings up a good
point. He's not wrong, though. Like you said, he's dropped down to a second or third pick.
Yeah, honestly, his trade value has gone down dramatically. And especially with Austin Eckler doing as well as they have the ability to trade for what they need, get some late picks, because it's not a young team. It's not an old team. The Chargers are kind of sitting in that area where they've done well drafting, but they're kind of still sitting in like a weird area of like middle age, which is weird to say. That's like middle age for them is like 26 to 28. But, that's just football. Rolling on along, the AJ Green saga of will they, won't they? I'm fully sold on they won't, which is dumb for the Bengals. I think they need to cut and run. I don't doubt that AJ Green's great. When he's healthy, AJ Green's fantastic. He's not been healthy for 3 years now.
Almost consecutive, exactly. And not only that, it's the Bengals.
It's the fucking Bengals.
It's the Bengals. Even without Marvin Lewis, who, granted, brought them to the playoffs a couple of times, but didn't win a game.
No.
Probably the most, I would say they're the worst franchise in the past 20 years. And yes, I know the Browns have been around. However, when the Browns have had a chance, they've never made the playoffs. They've never come close. The Bengals have had seasons where they've had a chance, and they just choke it away in the first playoff game because Marvin Lewis is a perennial loser. Now that Marvin Lewis isn't on the team,
how would that make them worse than the Browns?
I'm talking about a franchise that has had chances to succeed and has just choked it away.
So you're claiming that the Browns have been shafted because they've never even had a chance.
I think he's saying the Browns are more consistently bad. Yeah. And it's like, it's fine, but the heartbreak that the Bengals have caused their fans repeatedly and being almost there and never quite there is worse. The spikes and drops.
I would say more. They're more disappointing than the Browns are.
All right, I will give either of you. I will Venmo you right now $5 to name who the fuck the Bengals head coach is, because I just had to fucking look it up.
Couldn't tell you.
Chris,
I give up.
Some dude named Zach Taylor who looks like he's an extra in an Old Navy ad.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah. I don't know who the hell Zach Taylor is, but he's the coach now with Marvin Lewis. So that's the thing. Good for you, Zach Taylor. You kept the fucking system going. Cheers.
Yep. You have players on the field.
You have, in fact, played football.
You have a 53-man roster and no more, no less.
Yeah, you did it. Proud of you, bud.
In my nostrils. Thank you.
All right. So let's break down a few of these. Oh, actually, one more name I've seen pop up here and there. I'm not sure if they should cut and run on him quite yet. Chris Harris Jr. in Denver.
I've heard that name as well.
I've heard a couple rumors come up about him. I haven't heard a team exactly connected with him, but I have heard Chris Harris Jr. come up a lot, and I don't think that's a name you cut and run on just yet. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Broncos are in full sell mode. I think they still have some defensive pieces they need to keep. Him and Von Miller, Von Miller being rumored earlier in the year was wild to me. That was dispelled quick.
I still see his name being floated around by a couple of different NFL players.
I would be shocked. For Von Miller, I would be talking two first rounders and a fucking player, a top or mid to top player.
I mean, it's Von Miller. I mean,
I know that's what I'm saying, but he's a key part of a defense. Even with now with Bradley Chubb out for the year, you need him there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to do anything.
I have one more player, and I also want to get your guys' take on Sanu. What do you think of the second draft pick for him? Second round.
I think it's too high.
Really?
I think it's very high.
So, I agree.
30-year-old.
Where the Falcons. So there's a take that the Falcons got the better deal on that, and I agreed to disagree there because. Honestly, the Pats have a history of drafting bad in the second round, and they have a first and a third rounder in 2020.
Right.
All right. Well,
for now.
I think plus we should be okay. Plus we'll have 2 conditional draft picks if they don't re-sign Trey Flowers and Trent Brown.
If they don't re-sign Trey Flowers?
Yeah. They don't have Trey Flowers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because that's from last year.
In Detroit. I don't think the Patriots are going to re-sign him.
That's from last year. Cut that out.
Yeah.
I think they overpaid for the player. However, I think it was appropriate given that the Patriots are very thin at wide receiver, and the wide receivers that they do have are all hurt. Julian Edelman's dealing with a rib injury. Philip Dorsett just came back from injury last week. Josh Gordon just got placed on the IR. He's done for the year. N'Keal Harry is coming back from injury. I think the only healthy wide receiver that they have on their roster right now is Jacoby Myers. I mean, Gunnar Olszewski's even fighting off something. But
I'm not a big Gunnar fan.
I like Gunnar Olszewski. I think it's his first year in the league. He's on a team that already has an established punt returner, and he's taking all of it from Julian Edelman because he's hurt.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten great punt return yards, but he's only muffed one punt the entire season. So I mean, that's really all you can ask for. So, I really don't want to break up a lover's quarrel, but I think maybe we should move on.
Leads into Josh Gordon. So Josh Gordon came out after being placed on the IR that he feels he's almost healthy, and he's on the IR. So do the Pats waive him now, or trade him away? I mean,
you wouldn't get anything for him if you traded him.
Yeah, Josh Gordon's a hard pick to get anything for. You might get a 7th out of that, but with all the quote unquote attitude issues and now the injury on top of that and an aging receiver, even if he hasn't played,
we have not seen his full potential, which sucks. I mean, he left last season. He was back little this season and injury prone. I wish we could see the old Josh Gordon, the Browns Josh Gordon.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could see the Browns Josh Gordon too. Here's the thing, and I remember texting you guys about this. I have full faith in N'Keal Harry. That kid is an animal. He's been an animal in college. He was playing with awful quarterbacks, and he was making these ridiculous catches. The kid makes plays. He is a playmaker. Like, that is what he does. That's what they brought him on for. He would have slipped to probably, I think, Arizona in the next round and stayed in Arizona. The Patriots were lucky enough to get him in early and steal him. Maybe drafted a bit too high in some people's eyes, but I think you're going to be really happy with what N'Keal does.
Yeah, I definitely think that once he comes and is a mainstay, I think whoever's quarterback in the future or even now, I think they're going to find that he's a really good player.
That's why they traded for Mohamed Sanu, is they just have no faith in Jarrett Stidham after the pick 6. So they're going full on Mohamed Sanu.
Did you see how they didn't put him in when they were up 26-0? They waited.
I still have a lot of faith in Jarrett Stidham. I still have a ton of faith.
It's the same thing with going forward on 4th downs, even when they're at the 30-yard line. They just have no faith in the kickers that they've been bringing in. I mean, Mike Nugent's a scrub, but I mean, he can make a field goal from time to time.
Time to time. It's
kicker is the hardest position in the NFL. Spot the lie.
The entire sentence. Anyways, let's move on. I know, Chris, you wanted to do some bet lines before we moved on to the NHL.
We'll cover this quick.
All right, yeah,
this is week 8 bet lines. Obviously, I already said the Pats. The Pats are getting a 13 points favored spread over the Browns, which it makes sense to me. It makes sense. It seems a little high because the Pats have been high this whole season. I mean, they got 23.5 at one point, I think, against the Dolphins. But that's it. One I really like.
Covered that spread.
Yeah. The spread I'm really interested in is Carolina Panthers and the Niners. We got a 5.5 spread favored for the 49ers.
Are they home or away?
They're home.
I
really feel like this is a trap game.
So that's exactly
like Kyle Allen and Chris CMC Christian McCaffrey might pull something off here.
Exact. Does Kyle Allen and Christian McCaffrey, Luke Kuechly on the defense, do they give the 49ers a run for their money? I'm thinking this is going to be a close game. I'm thinking that spread, honestly, the over is 42. I think that will hit, even with two good defenses going at it. But I think my personal take is this spread will not hit.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be a close game.
That's right. Spread.
Within field goal.
You're taking the over in Carolina outright?
No, not Carolina. Oh,
you're taking
Carolina
San Francisco,
spread.
San
Carolina spread.
Francisco, no spread.
Over.
Under.
Yep.
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
buy a teaser, maybe buy some points.
Here's the thing I got to say about the 49ers and that, though, is they're getting a lot of players back. They get a line. I can't think of the lineman they got last year back or a couple years ago. They get their fullback back. They're getting Emmanuel Sanders in, which I don't expect him to make a big impact, but you never know.
Yep.
They have a lot of players coming off the IR. I still think the Panthers pull something out here.
I agree. I'm hoping the Panthers pull something, but we'll see. We also have, like Zach said earlier, Green Bay, Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay is favored by 4 points.
Ooh, I'm looking at my list, and I have a new game of the week, so I'm ready when you are.
Let me go through this real quick.
Yeah. You fire off. I'll talk about it after.
We got Rams and Bengals. No brainer. 13 points.
Game of the week.
That spread is going to go up. I can guarantee you that is not the final spread. That's a Sunday game. That is going to rise. Over is a little high. I don't know how I feel about that. Here's actually an interesting one. We have the Lions and Giants. Lions at home. Lions are favored by 7.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Giants are 2-5. Lions are 2-3-1. And I mean, same number of wins. Lions have a tie. Cool. I think that's gonna, with Daniel Jones in, I don't know. I think Giants might take that.
Yeah, even with Evan Ingram looking bad like he did last week, I think he picks it back up. I think Saquon picks it up.
Mm-hmm.
Which horrifying enough to see his ankle, like him step out with an ankle injury last week. I still take the Giants in this game. I like the Lions a lot. I like what they've done. I think the Giants pull an upset here.
Mm-hmm. And last game, Monday night, Dolphins at Steelers. I'm actually interested in watching this. Dolphins are still looking for that win.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm interested. Dolphins are looking for that win.
I'd rather eat grass.
The Steelers are only 2-4. No Ben Roethlisberger.
In my notes, I have that this might be the worst Monday night game of the season.
I'm telling you, this is going to be a surprise game. You heard it here first.
Yeah, and you'll hear it there last, too.
Probably.
It's gonna be
First one and only on this take is that the Steelers-Dolphins game is the game of the week.
The starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Right now, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Okay, go back to Fitzmagic. He might have his Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
moment.
maybe against the Steelers defense, but you put him up against any other team, he looks like I don't honestly.
All
I don't even have a
saying,
comparison. It's
Dolphins are looking for the win. They already can't tank. I mean, the Bengals and the Redskins actually don't have them, but the Bengals have them beat. Miami can go for the third pick. One win.
The third pick in the draft is still worth something. I mean, it's. I'm just saying.
It's a deep draft, and the Patriots are going to get a quarterback.
Miami can get one win, and it's going to be against the Steelers.
Hashtag hurts to the Patriots.
All right. Well,
my game of the week. I'm going to lock it in now, Chris. I want you to look up the spread on this right now. Are we certain each quarterback is legitimately ready to take over their team? Give me Eagles, Bills.
I saw that. 1.5 spread towards Buffalo at home.
Wow, really? They only got 1.5?
That is going to be a tight game. Carson Wentz is in.
Carson Wentz is in as far as I know. I have no reason to believe he's not.
Okay.
I would take the Bills on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm taking the Bills. I'm 100% taking the Bills.
Josh Allen not only looks good in shorts, he's also tall and can throw the ball well.
So besides other people's stuff, Josh Allen has had a fantastic year. He has a lot of great players in great positions, especially Cole Beasley, I believe, is in Buffalo now.
Yep.
Who hasn't really had a lot of a year. I'm still forever going to be nervous about Josh Allen running 20-plus yards a game. He had 4 rushes, I think, last week, which was low for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a running quarterback. If he's going to be your franchise quarterback, which Zach disagrees, maybe keep him in the pocket.
Agreed.
I think I honestly think Josh Allen is the next journeyman quarterback. I really do.
I think Jameis Winston, I've been very vocal about that on the blog. Jameis Winston's the next journeyman quarterback.
I mean, honestly, Jameis Winston's going to end up right back where he started. He's going to lose his contract. He's going to end up stealing crab legs again because he's going to be homeless.
He's going to end up in Miami, the other side of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, he's probably going to end up in the swamp.
So why did Tampa Bay get rid of Fitzmagic?
Because
You're asking me? I don't fucking know.
You went there.
What do you mean? I'm not a GM.
Well, let's not get caught up on Tampa Bay here. I think we should move on. I think this is a little long.
I wonder who made it that way.
I'm sorry. I know, but
Let's just keep it going. We're good. We're good.
All right. Well, I think
Let's bring it over to the ice, Zach.
Yeah. Well, as you've probably noticed, I keep picking my head up. We have a game on here in the studio. Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay's on right now. It's 2-2 in the third. Got about 4.5 minutes left. It's been a pretty good game to watch. I mean, Pittsburgh is always fun to watch. Tampa Bay is a good team. So, NHL's been very interesting so far this season. The best team in the league right now, you could argue, is either Edmonton or Buffalo, which is very weird for me to say. And honestly, I want to bleep my mouth.
What twilight zone do we fucking live in?
Buffalo's been really good. I think Jack Eichel's taking really big leaps with that team. I think they've just developed pretty well, although they started out like this last year and then just completely tanked. So we'll wait and see on them. The jury is still not out on them yet. But I think a couple surprises this year, obviously Buffalo, but Edmonton. I mean, Edmonton has just been outscoring everybody. Edmonton has just been so good so far. I mean, they've just been scoring a crap ton of points.
Yeah.
It's just been insane. Colorado, another good story. That first line for them has been really good. Mikko Rantanen has been really well. He is injured, though. I believe he has an upper body injury right now, so he might be out for a couple of weeks. But, Nathan McKinnon, can't go wrong with Nathan McKinnon. And they did play really well last year, and they kind of flip-flopped with the Blues and how the Blues came from absolutely nothing all the way up to winning a Stanley Cup. Rest in peace, Boston Bruins. Other than that, I really think there hasn't been many surprises. Washington, Carolina, Pittsburgh round out the Metropolitan Division top 3. Carolina was a really surprise team, and they ousted the Capitals in OT in Game 7, which was a crazy game to watch. I mean, I was really excited for Carolina. I think they have a really good team. I thought that it's not it's not specifically one or two players. It's really a collective team effort for that group. So, a bunch of jerks, right? Don Cherry hates them, which I find hilarious because Don Cherry is just a hateful, spiteful little old man. But, Boston, Toronto, always going to be staples in the Atlantic for this year at least. Florida's been okay. I think a big surprise for me is Tampa Bay right now, actually. I mean, Tampa Bay is a good team, but they're 4-3-1 right now. They're sitting
I was just going to ask you that.
They're sitting 3 points outside the third place spot. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's really early in the season.
Now, if you took them from last season, they were almost guaranteed to make the Stanley Cup Finals, and they got blown out.
They got swept in the first round by Columbus.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you'd think they'd be angry and absolutely destroying, but 4-3-1. I'm really surprised.
I think their problem is they had such high expectations last year, and they're kind of still riding on those laurels. I don't think they don't have it all together yet.
Mm-hmm.
Kucherov hasn't really done all that well this season so far. When he gets going, the team will follow, but I just think that they need a little bit of time. They'll be fine. I mean, they have probably the best team on paper in the league, so I think
Cooper's on the hot seat. Fire him.
Huh?
I don't care.
Cooper's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine for a couple.
He's gonna be fine.
But
Vasi's gonna pick it up. Kucherov's gonna be Kucherov. They'll be fine.
I'd like to say my last kind of little surprise in the league, San Jose. They're 3-5-1. They got 7 points. They're a -8 in point differential. They've looked like garbage. I don't know what's wrong with them. I mean, they re-signed Patrick Marleau, which was really stupid. Like, I get it. Up 10, there goes Tampa Bay. Just scored a power play goal. It's now 3-2 with 56 seconds left.
Please take back what you said to the entire city of Tampa.
I will not. I'm just saying. I said it. They'll take some time. They haven't looked amazing, but
they're right. Fire Cooper.
They're probably going to end up moving to 5-3. They'll move up in the standings. They'll be fine.
I'm a little surprised. The Bruins need more goal scorers.
They don't need more goal scorers. They need their other line.
They need
Chris's plan for the Bruins is full out offense. You can't beat us if we score every fucking shot.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So the Bruins have a plethora of goal scorers on that team. You know, the entire first line can score 30 goals, no problem. I mean, right. So I think they need to incorporate more players into the second, third line. The fourth line will always be fine. Not that they will score, but that's their energy line. You know what I mean? But I mean, David Pastrnak, man, he has been on fire. That goal he scored last night was just unbelievable. The little through the legs deke spinorama, like right in front of the net. He slipped it right by.
Toronto's goaltender, does when he's on the ice.
I'm actually the goalie, so no, I don't. But that's fine. Another crazy kind of thing going on. James Neal. I don't know if anybody remembers the James Neal Milan Lucic trade, but they traded them straight up. I don't know what kind of drugs Calgary was on, but Milan Lucic is like. If I could compare Milan Lucic to anybody in the world, I would probably go with Lou Ferrigno, because he's a giant walking muscle, but he can't move all that well.
Take that back.
I still remember Milan Lucic firing at the center of fucking whoever the Capitals goalie is. I can't think right now. Repeatedly.
No. Well, I remember him running over Ryan Miller.
I remember
steamrolling Ryan Miller.
Steamrolled.
Love Lucic. I think he should go back on the Bruins.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and then Pastrnak is the first 1 to 10 goals. He's gonna score a crap ton of goals this year for the Bruins. I just think that top line is gonna be the best again, and I think they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't really see them winning a cup this year. I just don't think they have what it takes unless they add some pieces at the deadline. I guess my way too early Stanley Cup prediction. I'm probably going to go with Tampa Bay. I mean, I feel like they're going to be able to pull it this year. So.
Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins first.
But other than that, I mean, I have to say I am a very avid Tuukka Rask denier. I think he's played very well this season. So just look out for more takes from me on Tuukka Rask because I'm a Tim Thomas boy. I think Tim Thomas was their best goaltender in the past 40, 50 years. And you don't have that kind of nostalgia anymore. I think Tuukka Rask is more a positional player. He is where he needs to be most of the time, but when he's not, it looks really bad. So, other than that, I think we can move on. I think I covered the NHL pretty well. Just a couple little tidbits about that. I know we were going to talk a little bit about the World Series going on. The Nats beat the Astros, right? Last night.
And they're playing right now, actually. We have
And that's a final in
Nats
Tampa
are up
Bay.
again, 3-2, top of the 7th.
Oh, wow.
So-
Shit. It's... the Nats are a really good story.
That's the thing. Let's bring the World Series up, huh? I'm so glad the Yankees are out. I've always hated the Yankees. But honestly, I like the Astros, but I hate the Astros. They've been in the last few years. I don't want them in anymore. I think the Twins should have went all the way, which sucks. But that's a bad take, you know? I think, again, on paper, the Astros have the better team, but I think the Nats will surprise us. They're up right now, man on first, top of the 7th, no outs. So if the Nats take this game in both games in Houston, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there, Chris. Is taking 2 games at Houston is massive. They have a huge home field advantage right there.
They can take 2 at home, yeah.
Juan Soto obviously is the story of last night, hitting a fucking smack out of the park. Way to go, Tampa Bay, by the way, on that win. Here's the thing, though, is the Nats, one of the Nats' best pitchers, fucking Scherzer threw 112 through 5 the other night, or 2 nights ago. 112 pitches through 5. He had no innings where he pitched less than 20, except for his last inning. You don't want that.
You really don't want that, but it's the World Series.
I guess, but still.
You have Max Scherzer, you have Zach Greinke, and you have who else do they have? Who's their third pitcher?
Garrett Cole started, didn't he?
Oh, Garrett Cole. No, Garrett Cole's on Houston.
Yeah, Zach Greinke's on Houston.
Oh, I'm sorry. Strasburg, Scherzer, and I'm getting them mixed up now for some reason. Who else do they have?
Strasburg,
Patrick Corbin.
Scherzer.
Corbin, yeah.
Strasburg. I mean, the pitching lineups for this World Series is really good.
Phenomenal.
I just think that you're gonna see them use them until they physically can't pitch anymore. I mean, yeah, if it goes long, it could bite them in the ass that Scherzer was out there for 112 through 5. But I mean, you know, he was gonna pitch game 1. He's gonna pitch game 4 or 5. You know what I mean? He's probably gonna pitch game 5. So, and you'd rather have him for that, especially if he gets that win, which he did, and they win tonight. Game 5 is going to be huge because all they need to do is win 1 at home, and it's basically over. It's over. I mean,
I jokingly said Nats in 4, and now that's scaring me.
As the Red Sox proved, though, in 2004, it ain't over until it's over.
Well, that was
the Astros have a history. It doesn't change the fact they came back from 0-3. It's the Astros did it last week against the Yankees. They can come back. They have the players to come back.
They do, but here's the thing about yesterday is you're talking about them leaving 11 players, 11 possible runs on base, hitting 3 for 12 with runners in position.
Yep.
Obviously, I can't watch tonight because I got a fucking college girl tapestry. Like some dude's about to fucking rail me in the back after formal, but like
that's some like Black Couch special porn right there.
We had to separate out the room.
This is like
Couch
first time anal cream pie for you, my friend.
Stay tuned on YouTube for the video.
But
yeah.
Anyways,
that's not a thing you can do in the World Series. You can't leave runners in position like that, especially 11 of them.
That's why the Yankees lost last week. Yankees did the same thing. Now back to the Yankees real quick. CC Sabathia.
Back to the team who's not in this.
No, just a famous play. CC Sabathia walked off the mound with a hurt shoulder last week. He's done. So now,
he was done before that.
That was his last pitching.
No, correct. Like he knew he was done before that, though.
I know.
Oh, okay,
what I'm saying is, do you think he's officially done?
Yeah.
Easy Hall of Fame pitcher.
No.
It's just it's kind of sad, yes, for the easy. But it is kind of sad.
I don't know about that.
I never liked CC Sabathia. because he's a Yankees player.
It
But
has nothing to do with the Yankees player. I just don't think
shut
he's
your mouth.
proved himself. Yeah, he's a very, very good pitcher. Is he Hall of Fame good? I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats line. I'd have to compare him to other pitchers in the era. I just don't know. I don't know, you know?
That's fair. That's fair. It's just sad to see him go like that.
Just think about it like this. When you think of Hall of Fame pitchers, you think of Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. You think of pitchers like that.
Yeah.
Was he Pedro Martinez-esque? I don't think so.
For the Yankees, yes.
For the Yankees, yeah. He'll end up in Yankees Hall of Fame. That's fine. That's different.
He had a few stats that will, I think, get him to Cooperstown. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
He might visit Cooperstown. If he's going in there.
All right, James. We have our better bust, our little segment that we're going to start up here.
Woo!
You had your better bust players. I'm really intrigued to hear who you have on top for us.
Yes. Bet or bust. Bet or bust is going to be our, I guess, weekly for now segment. We'll see how often we end up doing this podcast segment. It's the people players I'm going to bet on, and the people I'm not going to bet on. You know, bust. What's it going to be? My first bet is going to be Casey O'Brien of Minnesota. Placeholder, got to hold it kick. He beat cancer, I think it was 3 times, which I might just be pulling out of my ass.
I remember.
But fantastic story, super motivating, super fantastic. Really inspirational. Just awesome to see one of those like Instagram videos that give you those like, ooh, my hair's standing up, like great, awesome.
Yeah.
Like feels. My next is gonna be Alex Cora for just tweeting out baseball. Respect the fuck out of that move. I don't know what it means, but Alex Cora, he's into it. He's into baseball, and that's it. What do you know what Alex Cora's about?
Next vacation, he's drinking all of that rum chata. Like he's just on. He's on one, and he just was respecting the game so much. He's like, baseball. You know what I mean? Just
baseball.
That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
That's all he thinks about. He eats, sleeps, dreams baseball.
Baseball.
And that's a good
right now, that one tweet is sitting at almost 5,000 likes. We're 10 away, so let's get it there. For our 10.
We're getting BOTA, so.
Not even close.
My other bet is going to be 14-year-olds on Instagram that taught me about basketball. I'm trying to get into basketball more. I followed a couple pages like Celtics fandom or Celtics greats. And they really helped me out because thank you for having so much time and showing me videos of Marcus Smart repeatedly dancing on Instagram. It was really inspirational. I greatly appreciate it. My bust this week, speaking of basketball, are going to be LeBron's mustache. It's not a good look.
Yeah,
We're going to get to mustaches later in the game.
China comments.
And then Osamele's shoulder. If you don't know, the Jets. I think he's a defensive player, but I forgot. Player is being fined for going with his shoulder surgery and being fined about $521,000 per day by the Jets because he was like, "No, I'm gonna get the surgery," and the Jets are like, "You don't need it." And he's like, "My shoulder hurts." So he's trying to do what's best for his health. The Jets, being the Jets, are like, "Nah, I'm good." My last bust of the day is gonna be Cardinal Ritter College Prep. I read about this on a Barstool blog. They are forfeiting their season. They fired their coaches, ladies and gentlemen,
as well.
because of one player named Bill Jackson who was ejected in the final or the playoffs, whatever it was last year. Turns out he faked his ID, was supposed to be suspended for the first game. He ran as Melvin. Man, my handwriting is fucking awful, but I'm going to go with Burks. Melvin Burks, and ran for a ton of yards through their first 7, going 7-0 their first stretch. Turns out Melvin and Bill are the same person, just Bill pretending to be Melvin, which, by the way, Bill Jackson, like they said, sounds like a fake name. Sounds like someone who's made up. Yeah, turns out they just suspended the whole season because they're like, all right, well, we can't do anything about this. This kid's lying. Sell the season. Sell the coaches. We're good.
What are you supposed to do in that situation?
What do you,
not live
not
identity.
not
No,
put a
I'm
high school
saying-
kid out there to play?
The school
I have
committee.
to say though, I heard the kid like ran for like 200 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. So
I really wish they had his exact stats. I didn't see them.
that's awesome. Like, I mean, just think about it like this: you get suspended, you fake your identity, you absolutely run the ball down the throats of whoever the hell you played that week, and then your entire team gets suspended. That's pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie, like
Not just suspended. They canceled. The high school canceled the season.
like
Their
the
high school was like,
season's
we're good.
canceled. It's like a TV show after 1 week of everyone is just like, no, it's canceled. That's
Like, no,
fantastic.
stop.
I think that's pretty awesome. That kid deserves something. I don't know whether it be a fine or
I don't know what, but he deserves something.
It could go either way at this point. All right, I think we've talked about a lot today. We've gone over NFL, NHL. We did a little bit of World Series talk. We opened up.
More thing.
I know we do. Don't you worry. I'm getting to that right now. So as you can see here, we have a picture of Gardner Minshew II, Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, and I mentioned this earlier in the evening. We are going to start a poll every week. This week we're starting with something fun to get you guys involved. As you can see, Gardner Minshew has a sweet-ass mustache on his face, right there. And I'd like to point out that James also is kind of riding with a little bit of a smaller version of the mustache there.
Do it again.
I want you guys to tell me, who do you think has a better face riding mustache? If you had your choice, ladies, or even men, because every guy needs a little face riding, but if you had your chance to either have either mustache or ride either mustache, which one would you choose? Personally, I think James's is a little bit better. Not as much hair. It really speaks to me. I think that if I had a nice cup of hot chocolate and
You're getting deep now.
The first podcast with a live
Cream.
Oh, of course it's whipped cream. You ain't got no whipped cream. You don't got no hot chocolate, boy. Come on.
Toasted cracker on top.
Yeah. There's a little bit of
right.
of Dr. McGillicuddy's in that too, but yeah. So I'm gonna put that poll up for you guys. You guys can vote. Just a fun little poll. We're just screwing around here, but we'll throw up some really cool polls too for you guys, even during the week or whatever. Don't forget to check out our blogs. We like to post, try to post every day, every other day. I know myself and James post a good amount. Chris is not as much, but
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm very busy with life.
He's trying his best, but if you guys like our content, just give us a follow, like Instagram, whatever. Comment, talk to us. We don't bite. I mean, I do sometimes. That's like you. We're at BOTA Sports on Twitter, on Instagram, BOTA Sports, WordPress.
Real quick, Zach, I'm going to be throwing some evening quickies up on Instagram now instead of posting to the regular blog. So you'll see them on there instead. A little more formatted a little bit right there for you.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think like you said it, man, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, another quick thing too, guys. If you have any topics that you want us to write about, let us know. I'm a very good topic writer. I'll take the topic, run with it. I know James can do that. So can Chris when he's got the time. But if there's any specific things you guys want us to talk about on our podcast, we're calling this our BOTAcast. We're giving a voice to all the East Coast trash people out there who are just
instead of reading about
degenerates.
Idiots, you get to hear straight from them.
Just basic douchebags with sports opinions that probably make no sense, but we're gonna put it out there anyways for you guys, so you can have a nice laugh and also get a little informed on sports. But
that's it. All right.
Hey, that's it for you guys.
We love you all. We will see you at another time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Episode 1.
Peace out, World.